Michael Sheridan here. Welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show all about your dreams and their meanings. If you want your dream done, send it to radioshow@dream-analysis.com or text them to 206-708-7254. If you want to come on air, phone the station on 425-373-5527. That's 425-373-5527. You can find all these details and more, including archives of previous shows, on my website at dream-analysis.com/KKNW. I can't do the show without your dreams, so please do send them in. I need them. Don't assume others will. And as always, thanks to everyone who does and everyone who listens. And I got an email from Michelle over the weekend saying she'd sent in a couple of dreams and was disappointed that she hadn't heard them being done. And I was able to, fortunately, write back and say they were done and pointed her at the archives. So it may be the case that you've sent a dream in that you don't think I've done. Check the archives out. I've started putting the names of the dreams I've done in the archives. So if you're on YouTube, you can see the full list. And hopefully one of your dreams is in there. I'd say I have done probably 80% of everything I've got sent in, because if I don't do it over the radio, I still follow up in emails. So I would be happier to say that you'd be more likely to find your dream done than not done. So please do send them in anyway. I'm starting this week with a very short dream from Aidan. He says, I dreamed a man was threatening to kill me and generally very menacing. He said he would kill me unless I did what he wanted. I refused, stating that he would kill me even if I did what he wanted, so I wasn't going to do it. And that's the end of the dream, a nice short one. But a fairly disturbing one, really puzzled the dreamer. And this is a very particular type of dream, and I get them from time to time, generally very short like this one, and usually fighting ninjas or other dark characters while fearing for your life. Huge element of fear in these dreams. And sometimes a dream is not a dream, and this is the case with this type of dream. To explain it, I need to give it a little bit of background. When we go to sleep, our soul leaves our body and we go to the astral plane. This plane lies between the physical and spirit worlds. On this plane, we can meet loved ones who have passed on and have ventured there from the spirit world to meet us. We can also meet our guides, and we can even meet friends who are still living who are also out of their body. These encounters sometimes show up in dreams and distinguish themselves by having a focus on dialogue. We go there subconsciously, but we can train ourselves to go consciously too. Some of the best books on how to train yourself to do this are by Robert Monroe. Journeys Out of the Body is a particular favourite of mine. And indeed, the Robert Monroe Institute is in Virginia, which specialises in helping you achieve this with all sorts of scientific gizmos and gadgets. Anyway, these books are well worth a read if this subject interests you, but let me continue on. There are many levels of the astral plane. It's enormously expansive. In fact, it is so big that some souls get lost trying to traverse it after they die. Others are like Sherpas of the astral plane and rescue these lost souls. They just know the astral plane so well. If you're one of these Sherpas, you'll have dreams of rescuing people drowning at sea or escorting people in other ways. Coming back to the subject matter in Aidan's dream, when we sleep, we end up on the astral plane level that matches our vibration. So going to sleep can have you fighting assailants in your dream. The easy fix is to put yourself into a positive frame of mind while drifting off. Maybe do a nice meditation beforehand, a little short one. However, that is not the case in Aidan's dream. His dream reveals that someone on the earth plane is attacking him, not physically, but mentally and with strong negative emotion. Some of us bring with us to the earth plane the special spiritual ability to project our minds. If you have dreams where you can fly, you've got it, and you will already be aware that in waking life you can strongly influence people's motivation. You probably also have gravitated into a career where you can use this ability, such as sales and marketing. Not everyone has it, but if you do, then you are advised to be careful to not repeatedly think negatively of others. You'll get karma for it because you do affect them, especially if you single out one person to think about negatively all the time. The rest of us can think what we want without any ill effect on others. Thinking positively about others will also affect them positively, and believe it or not, in specific cases and for specific reasons, you can also get told to knock that off. In Aidan's case, he immediately knew who had it in for him and was able to put a block in place to protect himself. Attackers get tired and move on, especially when they can't get through. Most attackers are unaware of the mechanism or that they are incurring karma, but they are aware of their spiteful thoughts. When a situation happens that inflames them, that is enough to spark another attack and requires another block. Of course, there's no point me covering this dream without telling you how to put a block in place. It's very easy, and here's how to do it. If you know how to meditate, put yourself into that state. If you don't, then sit in a comfortable chair and relax, preferably with your spine completely straight. Imagine a beam of light coming from your base chakra and going down into the center of the earth, where it meets up with a giant neon blue ball of light. Right when you make this connection, you can feel the shivers, but sometimes you don't feel it, so don't worry if you don't. That's the feeling of you grounding yourself. If you're already grounded, you also won't feel it, of course. Now imagine a beam of white light coming up through the beam of light you sent down. Imagine another beam of white light coming from the heavens and both going into your spine, radiating out through your body and filling your aura like a giant light bulb. You can even imagine you've got a super bright light bulb within you that is just switched on. This light fills all the way out to the edges of your aura, say 4.5 feet all around you. Imagine the edges of your aura have become reflective and reflect back anyone on the outside that would do you harm. If you know who the protagonist is, then imagine them or their energy bouncing off your aura, unable to pass through the perimeter. If you don't know the protagonist, then imagine people in turn that you think it could be. Each time you get a hit on a person, you will immediately feel physically lighter, like a pressure has been lifted off you. That's because it has. When you have cycled through everyone you want to block, then tell yourself that this protection will remain in place, and then in your own time, open your eyes and go about your daily routine without giving it any more thought. So in summary, relax, send light from you to the center of the earth, imagine white light coming into your body from the earth and the heavens, see the light get brighter and fill your aura, imagine this light forming a protective force field that blocks anyone who would do you harm, and their energy simply bouncing off it. This works for all kinds of things, including being trapped in a bad relationship where you're getting daggers from your partner. Do the exercise, however, before you are physically in their space and before they have evoked a negative response from you. Okay, so I get those types of dreams all the time, and just thought I would put that in there rather than covering a lot of them. So, looking at another dream here now, this lady says, the dream starts with the image of an ink illustration of a humpback whale. Now, if you've been listening for long, you will know that I'm going to say humpback whales represent the ability to channel. Whales, like us, are mammals, air-breathing mammals, but they have moved back into the oceans, and the oceans in dreams symbolize the spirit world, with the analogy that life came from the spirit world and life came from the oceans on the physical plane. So it means this dreamer has the ability to channel. And she says, okay, now I'm driving across the I-90 bridge towards Seattle, heading west. My vehicle is big and it has no roof or upper part to it. It's just open. It's a beautiful day and the water is clear, bright blue. I'm driving, but I'm on the right side of the car. I look into the water on the right and I see a huge humpback whale just a little below the surface of the water. I'm talking on the phone to my partner as I drive, and I tell him about this remarkable sight. When I come to the tail of the whale, there is another whale, head first, after it. Again, right alongside the bridge, just barely below the surface. After that is another. Finally, there are two, and I think one might be a young one because it's smaller. None of them are moving, and I wonder if they are still alive. They're absolutely enormous and beautiful, kind of speckled grey and white. I wake up as I approach the tunnel at the end of the bridge. And she also says in her comments that she realised before she woke up that they were alive. So this is a really simple dream. It's obviously about the spiritual path because we have something taking place in a lake. I know the I-90 bridge. Well, what can we say? Because there's a number of, let's take it in order. There's a number of things in this. Because we have a number of whales, it means you're part of a group. And your channeling ability has reached the surface. Just like in the dream, you find it remarkable that the whales are just below the surface. The I-90 bridge says your counselling ability, and you already know from previous dreams you have a counselling ability, but that's what the bridge stands for. But this particular bridge in Seattle is a floating bridge, so it's floating on a lake, and lakes represent that the dream is about your spiritual purpose and spiritual gifts. So we know here the bridge is saying, it's actually literally putting your counselling ability in touch with your spiritual nature, putting you in touch with it. And the 90 part asks you to make it a goal to achieve using this. What else? The car has no roof or upper part. So this is saying that you are now spiritually open. So your awareness is of both of your physical and the non-physical. And that's quite unique. Sometimes we see people with dreams of cars where there's no roof, but not where the upper part of the car is gone. And in your case, and it puzzled me the last time around, this is the second time you have a car where parts of the body of the car are missing. So it's really good. What else is in this dream? It's a beautiful day. That's nice. Heading west is the right way to go. That's about activating the heart. And you're driving on the right-hand side of the car. We know from previous dreams you were on a karmic path, and the right-hand side in dreams when you're on the karmic path represents the future. So this is all your immediate future because it's right beside you as you look over the bridge. You're driving on the correct side of the vehicle in this dream. That's all good. You're talking to your partner. That emphasizes that it's a communication ability. You're talking to your partner while looking at the whales, that is. So we know this. And then you tell them it's a remarkable sight. And in your case, that means it works through clairvoyance. So you get images that you then interpret that tells you what your guides are trying to say. Now, the part that I found interesting, because you sent in a second dream, which I may cover if we have time, where you were, or somebody was driving an airplane across a bridge at Heathrow in London. And of course, that doesn't happen. People don't do that. So the bridge was also about your counselling ability. But here you're driving across a bridge towards a tunnel. And that's a classic symbol. Well, going to the other side of the bridge, take out of the bridge, just saying going to the other side and through a tunnel. You can see what that has symbolism for, which is death. But that's not what this dream is about at all. But it says, it kind of is, but it's not about it's not a physical warning or anything. Basically, I had to channel on this to get it, and it says, you can skirt with death without harming yourself. Now, I have no idea what that means, but from this dream, we can tell you're a channel, so maybe you can tune into it and tell us. So I've let the cat out of the bag a little bit there to say that I channel on the dreams. I don't always know what the symbols mean, and I have to tune in to get them. But that's okay. That's allowed. So I have your other dream, and I'll just put it aside. Here we have a dream. Another lady, she says, it's called A Green Bug Burrows Into My Face. It's a lovely short dream. I really like short dreams. I've said that before, I suppose, many times. But let's have a look at the dream. She says, I'm at my real home, which is an apartment, and I'm in the living room next to the garden, and a green bug shaped like an elephant with extra arms like the Hindu god burrows into the left side of my cheek, an inch below my eye. My dad and sister are there, but they don't help me. Our little dog bites the bug a few times and tries to help. The bug is halfway into my face, and my dad and sister ignore me. The sofa is grey, the rug is green, my dog is beige and white. Okay, so this person obviously knows I like colours, so thanks, that's great. I also like titles, and of course, if you want to see your dream in the archives before listening to the whole show, title your dream and you will see the title in the archives, so that's good. So there's really a lot in this dream, even though it's quite short. Elephants, the correct word for elephants is pachyderm, which comes from the word for skin, dermis. We know this anyway. But anyway, the point is elephants have to protect their skin. And in a dream, it symbolizes somebody who pretends to be thick-skinned, but they're not really thick-skinned at all. They get hurt easily and things do get under their skin. And then we see the bug saying, this is about things that are bugging you because it's coming onto your face. So this is things that are bugging you in the present, right now. We have the past behind it is what's behind us in a dream. The future is what's in front of us. But this is on your face, so this is right now. So something that's bugging you right now, and it's hardly even symbolic, but it is. In the dream, the bug gets under your skin. So this is saying things really bug you to the point that they get under your skin, but we already had that from the elephant. So you have two things saying that. So it's not a warning of a health issue or anything like that. But what's interesting is the extra arms on the elephant, that Hindu god is about the goddess of empowerment. So this is good for you. So it's saying, okay, this is how you're going to empower yourself, is get to the stage where things don't bug you. But the things that affect you most are family, because we have your dad and your sister in the dream, so they're family issues. And the dog represents your body, warning you about things. So it's saying, listen to your body. and tolerance because of the color beige. Tolerance and acceptance are the antidote for you. And we can guess, although you will know this, it's very easy to know it, the green bug could be saying let go of envy, because if things are bugging you and we see green in the dream, especially because it's near the eye, it's like looking at people and being envious of either the ease with which they do things or their attitude, the way they're able to ignore things like these people do in the dreams when you can't. So it's a nice dream. It doesn't really show anything major. It's just bringing something to our awareness. And I know you've cut the ties with your mom recently, so you don't need to be doing anything different. So this is, it's good when you see this nice short dream like this. Okay, I think I've covered everything in that. So here is another dream. A man this time, name is David. And he says, I'm skipping the first part. I should have marked where the dreams start. In my dream, I see a 2-foot tall big bird with a blue chest with brilliant golden wings. I see out my window, almost scares me, and I think to take defense. Once the bird enters my window, I'm mesmerized. The bird may have spoken. It transformed both into a beautiful girl and into a young man at one point. I demanded to know what or who it is. I feel like I was told the name of somebody that started with an R. Okay, so we don't know who it is. So when you do get that, when you get a name like that in a dream, it's typically going to be one of your guides. And so guides, they don't always go by names. They don't need to. They quite often don't speak in dreams. Again, they don't need to. They tend to lead by example. They show you what you're doing or what they want you to do, and they want you to figure it out. But they do tend to be a bit aloof, and that's because of the distance between them and us. And us on the physical plane, we're very aware of everything that is required to keep us warm, happy, and healthy in life. And they don't need much of those things, so they can appear aloof in dreams. Anyway, so this dream is asking you to add as a goal your spiritual healing ability. So this should become part of your philosophy of life, and that's what the golden wings represent. And a goal, the reason it's gold is because it's a bird. Birds fly. We tend to have to look up to see them. I know yours is standing there. At least we assume it's standing there. But it's something that the dream wants you to get off the ground. So you have a spiritual healing ability, and when we see the blue with it, it says you need to add this to your philosophy of life. So when somebody asks you who you are or what you do, even if you don't verbalize it, think to yourself that I'm a spiritual healer, because you are. We also have it being 2 foot tall, and it turns into a man and a woman, and it also speaks. So all these things together indicate that you have a special communication ability, because it does, and that includes channeling. So, but I think in your case, it's also a communication ability on the physical plane. You're good at expressing yourself. At least people, you can get yourself across to people. But the dream asks you to do that, be expressive, and also to realize that you're expressing yourself, so let yourself be yourself. Does that even make sense? Hopefully it does. So another dream, another man. He says, my late wife Sue was stood in water up to her knees, and a large fish, a gold carp, was swimming around her feet and spawning thousands of eggs. It was fun watching it. Then I saw my daughter Laura doing the same thing, the carp swimming around with excitement and spawning eggs. The next thing I see is my Sue, presumably, Sue, laying down with a carp in her arms on a sofa. The fish is bound with rope and string to stop it moving, its head facing her face. My wife's smiling, and I said to her, it will die out of water. Look, it's slowly dying. She just replies, I know, and continues to smile. The dream ends, and I woke up in a wet sweat from this. Okay. So this dream is very straightforward, and I've marked some things. Generally what I do is I analyze the dream, figure out what it's about, and then check that I've got it right. So there's parts of this I know I've right, and there's other parts, what I'm trying to say is correct, but they're not happy with how I'm saying it. So I'm going to read both and just tell you which. So you're being told to follow your spiritual path. This is correct. This is what the dream is about. Just like the fish, you must be in water. So the water here represents spiritual path, and you're a spiritual healer, which is given by the color gold, just like in the last dream with the gold wings. The gold carp or goldfish in this dream says the same thing. And spiritual healers, what they do is they inject life force into others, usually through their hands. It doesn't have to be the hands. It can be feet. It can be another part of the body. And as we can see in the dream, the carp is spawning eggs and excited about it. So it's promoting life in the dream. And the healing, because your daughter appears in the dream in the water, the healing's connected with your daughter. So use your healing on her, would be the simple message of that one. And again, that's correct. So what I had written down here, and these are pieces then that I don't have 100%, but I'll read them out and then I'll read the pieces that are right. It says, I have written down, find an outlet for this ability and be excited, just like the fish. And that's okay. I mean, it is along those lines. Don't just sit on the couch with it. Don't restrict your ability. Don't deny it. Don't look back on life with regrets. And that part's right. So this is the part here now is correct. And it says, you're bound to your healing gift. It's alive and it cannot be contained. I don't know why they're saying this, but it's sort of along the lines. I get the image of like, say you trying to charge a stone or a glass of water and pass your healing ability into that and then strapping it to somebody or drinking it. And they're saying it can't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Your ability and you are the one thing. So don't see it as separate from you. You're the one that has to do the healing, and you can't pass it on. There can't be any token in the middle. So maybe you'll write and explain what they mean by that. But anyway, the gist of it's good. Okay, so another dream here. I had a dream of a tall building and I heard there was going to be an explosion. Everybody was running downstairs, but I was going upstairs for my bag was there. When I reached upstairs, a man told me, take your time, it's 7 o'clock, the explosion will be at 9 o'clock. Okay, so this is an emotional issue because of the explosion. Symbols of fire in dreams represent the emotions, the heart. On the physical side, it represents the physical heart and circulatory system. But it's always initially about expressing ourselves, sharing ourselves, and not being afraid to be open and honest with our feelings. Now, it's very easy to say that, but very few of us are open and honest with our feelings. We tend to hold back. We're heading out to the mall, for instance, and a good friend calls over and says, am I intruding? And we say, no, you're not, sit down. And, things like that. Even simple things we're not honest with ourselves about, with other people about. And we don't want to hurt them. But that's the same as not being honest. So I'm only saying that because we can sometimes say to ourselves, oh, no, I am honest, but we're not. If you were to go from morning till night and be absolutely honest with everything you say from morning till night, even for just one day, I think you'd be surprised to try do it and note how many times just to spare somebody else you hold back. But this holding back is not good for our heart. And this dream says that you should be going down from your head to your heart, which is all the movement down. Everybody else in the dream is showing you what to do. They're all moving from upstairs to downstairs. So it's asking you to listen to your intuitive mind, which is the heart, and don't be a slave to your rational mind, which is the head. Now, we in the West, that's easy for us. We're all very rational, or we tend to be that way. And the statistics for heart-related illness reflect it too. School and college give rewards for academic prowess and nothing don't help you in any way to understand and listen and learn about expressing your feelings. It's just the way it is. So if we're aware of it, then you can do something to make sure it doesn't cause you a problem. Now, the guy says, this man tells you, take your time, it's 7 o'clock and the explosion will be at 9. So what he's telling you to relax. But at the same time, because he's up in the head area, he represents logic. Men are accused quite often of being too logical and women of being too emotional. So if you look at men and women in dreams, they can represent that. So this is your logic saying everything's okay. But really, you shouldn't relax. You should be you should relax and shouldn't be ignoring the message of this dream. You should be moving your centric consciousness down to your heart. So again, letting your intuitive mind or your heart have a say in things you do. It's your responsibility to deal with this because we've got baggage in the dream that's upstairs. So that baggage is what's holding you back. I mean, clearly in the dream it holds you back because you're up in the dream, up at the top location when everybody else is trying to get downstairs. So what have you got? You're prophetic because you know this explosion is going to happen. So this is probably this is something you're going to be aware of, I'm sure. And events will awaken you to your ability if they haven't already. But you need to express yourself today to avoid health issues in the future, which is really what the dream is saying. Learn how to get in touch with your heart, express yourself to avoid any health condition from manifesting there on you. Okay, so let's move on. And this is a dream I wanted to do for some time, but we never got to it. So quite often I have a lot of dreams with me, and I only skim the surface by the time the show's over. But anyway, here we go. This one's titled John Deegan and Me. I'm with an actor who plays a character from a soap opera in Ireland called Fair City. He plays a senior guard, John Deegan, in the show. He's an older man, experienced and world-weary. So that's you, you're experienced and world-weary. We're climbing up a high building. The colour is kind of terracotta. The plaster is flaking a little. It's an old block of apartments similar to the Ivy Flats in Dublin. I get freaked out when I realise how dangerous this is. So, okay, being on the outside of a set of a block of apartments is about you being open and expressing yourself. You're on the outside, you're not holding things on the inside. And of course it feels dangerous to you, just like the previous dreamer it would. This is a woman's dream, by the way. Then we seem to be inside the building, but still up really high, and you'll be more comfortable with that. Up high here in this context is about you being rational and intellectual. We're looking up at what is either a clock tower or a bell tower, and I'm sort of inside it, close to a little door, which I guess opens to where the bell or clock is. And the clock tower, the clock represents the heart. The heart is the ticker in the body. And so that's what it means in your dream. I'm really afraid to climb down, and he goes to get a ladder to help me. I wait alone, clinging on precariously. He returns with an old-fashioned wooden step ladder, which I think would be far too short, but one step, I'm safely back down. Nothing to worry about after all. I'm speeding up because I know we're out of time. We're very close emotionally, and she goes off holding his hands, feeling safe and secure. So this dream is saying you are more advanced than you realise, and question I have here is, do you work in the counselling field already because you could? And that hardships in life don't have to cause you to close off, but it's really a good dream and all about trying to open you up and realise that you're much further along your path than you think. Thank you, everybody. See you next week.